Hi, everyone. Welcome once again to Southside Dodge Rebels this week. We're out in the sunshine in beautiful downtown Red Deer. Could think of no better place to shoot this week's episode. Even got some skaters behind us here in the background. Coming up this week, we've got game highlights from Kootenay and Lethbridge. We go behind the scenes with Matthew Dumba upon his return from Minnesota, and we check in with a unique challenge involving the Rebels in support of Canadian Blood Services. Let's kick off this week's show by going back to last Thursday night at the NMAX Centrium, your Rebels playing host to the Kootenay Ice. The Rebels scored 5 first-period goals last time Kootenay was in town. Since then, the Ice have been red hot, winning 13 of 16. Rebels open the scoring midway through the opening frame when the captain, Turner Elson, picks his spot for his team-leading 17th of the year. He beats Mackenzie Scapsey, making it 1-0. Rebels double their lead as Scott Fazer does some nice work along the boards to find Matt Bellerive, and check out this shot. An absolute laser. How he didn't bend either the bar or break the puck is beyond me. Bellerive's 12th of the year makes it 2-0. Sam Reinhart came into this game with a 14-game point streak. He used his speed on this play, drawing a penalty from Hayden Fleury. Kootenay comes also close to scoring on the ensuing power play, but Joey Leach fans on his shot, missing a wide-open cage. Kootenay would score before the end of the period. Jagger Dirk's shot is blocked. Rebels can't track down the rebound. Brock Montgomery does and snaps home a beauty past Patrick Bartosak. Not long after, Levi Cable with a great chance, but Bartosak shuts the door on the Cable guy. The Ice dominated much of the second period, and it would be Reinhart beating Bartosak from in tight for his 27th of the year, stretching his point streak to 15 games. Kootenay ties it 2-2. Brady Gaudet showing his physical side with a solid jolt. As the Rebels limped toward the end of the second period, the captain picked the perfect time to step up and regain the lead. Elson takes advantage of a turnover in deep, goes top shelf for his second of the night. 3-2 Rebels through 40. Here's Gaudet with another big hit along the boards. It was all Rebels in the third. A pretty passing play here as Brooks Maxwell and Elson set up a wide-open Reese Dino. And like a big pizza pie, that's amore for Dino. His 16th of the year makes it 4-2. Scott Fazer with another nice setup. This time, though, Wyatt Johnson is robbed by Skapsky. Tyson Ness jumps on a turnover at the Kootenay blue line and races in. Makes a great pass out to Dominic Volek. He nets his 6th of the season, pretty much icing this one at 5-2. Tensions boil over a bit as the Ice show some frustration with the game slipping away. Brandon Underwood holds Montgomery accountable for his bump on Bartosak. It took a while as the two linesmen tried their darndest to pry them apart, but they would eventually throw down, mostly a hugging match to start with, but they would exchange a few shots before falling down and heading to the showers. Rebels would add one more goal for good measure as Dino finds the puck and finds the net for his second of the game, capping off an impressive third period by the home side in a 6-2 win.
Yeah, we had all lines going tonight, and everybody was working hard, hitting, getting pucks to net. We had a little lapse in the second period, but we brought it together in the third, and it was just a good overall win.
I thought our first period was a decent first period. Second period was not a period that we like to play, and we had a little discussion after the second period in the room about how we need to be as a team and how we need to play. And in the third, we got back our work ethic and played more of the game we like to play, and it's being a working team and a detailed team and creating some scoring chances. And we were certainly better in the third. And obviously that one line for us, our best players, stepped up here tonight, and that's what we need from our older guys.
Game data brought to you by 247reddeer.ca. The Rebels' top line was in top form in this one, combining for 9 points in the victory. So one night later, the Rebels look to capitalize on that momentum in another huge Central Division matchup with the Lethbridge Hurricanes, this time in Lethbridge, and a bunch of Rebels fans on the Red Deer Rebel Nation bus on hand. Reed Duke gets an early shot on net for the Hurricanes, but it goes well wide. Jamal Watson gets a chance from in tight, but lifts the puck over the net and out of play. Graham Hood shovels a backhander on net. Bartosak drops down to cover before Mike Simpson can get to it. Reese Dino comes within millimeters of giving the Rebels a 1-0 lead. He beats Rimmer, but can't beat the post. In the second period, Dino hits the side of the net. Wildcat scramble for the puck near the crease. It bounces around until Dominic Volek finds it for his second in as many games. 1-0 Rebels. Russell Maxwell charges in hard and goes with the backhand try, but is hooked. Canes go to the power play. Lethbridge draws even when Hood does a great job of screening Bartasak before tipping the puck through the 5-hole. It's 1-1 through 40. In the third, Brady Gaudet winds and fires wide. Rebound comes far side to Matthew Dumba. He wastes no time blasting his shot past Rimmer for his 11th, 2-1 Red Deer. But the Hurricanes tie it up with a shorty. Sam McKechnie barrels in and goes top shelf on Bartasak, 2-2. With less than 3 minutes to go, Russell Maxwell finds the bouncing puck, buries one in off the bar for the game winner. The Hurricanes avenged their shootout loss earlier that week in Red Deer, winning 3-2.
It was a tight game, not many chances for both sides, and it just 2 mistakes that ended up in the back of our net, and we got to bury our chances there again. We had a lot of chances that we didn't bury, and it's just we played a solid game, and we're happy with how we played, but we got to get the win next time.
It was a playoff type game. I think we all felt that way. It was a pretty electric crowd. I know we had our fans there too, so it was a good game. I mean, both teams played pretty strong, and obviously the way we lost, it was, it hurt pretty bad. I mean, if we would have lost, maybe if they scored first 3 and we, scored 2, but for them to, score those last 2, especially the second one on the power play, it was a dagger. But I mean, we, I guess we took what we can away from it. I mean, if the stuff like that's going to happen, you'd rather have it happen now than game 1 in the playoffs. So, I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes. And we watched video on it and we've talked about it, but we're kind of moving on from it. But we were happy with our effort, the way we played, but I mean, just obviously the way it ended, we can't be happy with that.
We know we have to take care of what we can take care of. We can't have people help us all along the way. We got to make sure we win our games and stay in that 4th spot, but we got teams trailing right behind us, so we got to start picking up our game.
2 more assists for Reese Dino as he continues his stellar play. Dominic Volek's 2nd goal in as many games, the other Rebels highlight this night. Turner Elson now finds himself seeing Reese Dino right in his rearview mirror when it comes to the team's scoring lead. Rebels now with 60 points on the season, missing a glorious chance to pull away a bit from the Hurricanes. It's road trip time for the boys as they hit the bus for games out west in Prince George, Seattle, and in Kamloops. Here are some of their thoughts on the upcoming road swing.
When you play teams out west, it's almost kind of free points if you can get them, because the teams aren't in your conference. So we want to just have a good road trip, and obviously we owe Prince George for the last time. That was probably one of our worst games we've had. So we're gonna go into there with a little chip on our shoulders, and Seattle, that'll be a good test. And Kamloops, they're one of the better teams in the league, and they gave us a licking last time we played here. So we're looking forward to it, and I think it's our last big road trip of the year. So we kind of just want to have a good feeling, like I said, going into the road trip, and try and build off this past weekend we had.
PG beat us last time they were here. We owe them one. We have to go in there and dominate them, and then a long trip to Seattle, and got to have 2 points there. And Kamloops should be a tough game. So I hope we come back 2 out of 3. Hopefully 3 out of 3.
Coming up after the break, Matthew Dumba chats after his return from Minnesota. We'll tell you about a unique Rebels challenge in support of Canadian Blood Services.
Miette a 2-on-1 with Johnson. Miette stops. Over to Johnson.
Hey Red Deer Rebels fans, have we got the show for you? Southside Dodge Rebels This Week is your #1 source for everything Rebels.
Nice left-hand save.
Highlights, interviews, stats, and exclusive behind-the-scenes features brought to you each and every week by those who have their eye on the Rebels all season long.
He's back to the middle.
Southside Dodge Rebels This Week, weeknights on Shaw TV. Welcome back to the show. Rebels fans, players, coaches, everybody glad that Matthew Dumba has finally made it back from NHL training camp in Minnesota. Here's more from Jared Waldo.
For many kids, the big league experience can mean a variety of different things. For the past few weeks, Matt Dumba has lived that experience with the Minnesota Wild, and as we've all now come to realize, he's that much closer to becoming a full-time NHL hockey player. Dumba returned to Red Deer last week after finally being reassigned by the Wild following an extended stay during training camp and the regular season. While he didn't get into any games, Dumba says the experience was invaluable.
It was an amazing experience. Just everything that I learned. I soaked in so much in a matter of two and a half weeks or whatever it was. It was just a great experience for me.
Dumba surprised many by sticking around as long as he did in the NHL. Fellow draftees such as Griffin Reinhart of the Edmonton Oil Kings were sent home early on during the abbreviated NHL camps, but Dumba continued to stick in Minneapolis.
Going into camp, I don't think that was our intentions at all. I had only packed for the 4 days of camp or whatever that was, and when I knew I played so well and that they were going to keep me around. It was definitely exciting for me, and it's just kind of a day-by-day process, but it was awesome while I was up there.
Many people felt that Dumba wasn't having his best season with the Rebels, and seemingly Hockey Canada felt the same by dismissing him from their roster for the World Junior Tournament in Ufa, Russia. That said, the 7th overall pick from last year's draft agreed that his prolonged stay with the Wild validates and reassures his position of being worthy of such a high selection in the draft.
Great confidence boost for me, knowing that that Minnesota, and they think that I've been doing very well, and so does Brent back here, and just keeping that consistency and just getting better each day, and to take myself to the next level. And I'm close. I can feel it, and I got a little taste of it, so I can't wait to hopefully be up there next year.
And even though he didn't see any game action, he still benefited from seeing some first-hand experience about how glamorous the NHL lifestyle can be.
It was cool to see that. I didn't know how that all works, but you got our own plane and stuff, and you get to go to Detroit and then St. Louis and back to Minneapolis. It is also smooth and nothing like the bus transitions that we go through. And they kind of laughed, saying I just got back in time for the PG road trip. So it's just dub life, I guess.
But for now, Dumba's focus is back in Red Deer, where he'll help the Rebels for what fans hope will be a lengthy playoff run before saying goodbye to his junior career once and for all. For Rebels This Week, I'm Jared Waldo.
Well, here I am for the first time ever at Canadian Blood Services, donating a pint of my blood for a great cause. And that's exactly what the Red Deer Rebels are doing for the month of February with a unique challenge they've come up with. The Rebels have teamed up with Canadian Blood Services before, but things are different this time around as their provincial neighbors to the south wanted to raise the stakes.
We worked with the Rebels before, last year in November, and this year we were challenged by the Lethbridge Hurricanes because they have an existing campaign in February down there, and they've competed, I guess, against themselves to see if they could bring in more units than last year, and this time they wanted a competitor. They're rivals on the ice, so they decided to bring the challenge to the donor beds.
For Canadian Blood Services, the hockey It's in Our Blood challenge is a great way for them to share their message.
There's a lot of young fans at the Rebels games, so it's good to get that message out at a younger age and encourage people who have thought about it before to come in and try it for the first time and possibly help the Rebels win the challenge and also get a chance to win the Rebels prize pack that we're giving away at the end of the month.
Fans who donate blood in February and register for the challenge are eligible to win a Rebels team autographed third jersey. You'll also be helping the clinics in Red Deer and Lethbridge meet their goals for February.
They're around the 850 range, so in a similar sized city, so the challenge is pretty on par. And last year they, I think, had about 500 units brought in, so we're hopefully looking somewhere around there.
As far as the Rebels are concerned, they are more than happy to roll up their sleeves for the challenge and support a great cause.
It's one of those competitions where nobody really loses. There's no real winner. The real winner obviously is the fact that we're doing something really good for the community. Blood is something that everyone needs, and I think everyone can relate to someone they know over the course of their life needing blood. So while, there's a friendly competition, really it's just about doing something good for each team's community.
Members of the Rebels front office set a fine example by being the first to donate through the challenge. Their hope is that fans step up to donate not only in the month of February, but on an ongoing basis.
We encourage every Rebels fan out there to not only donate, this month, but blood's something that, the need doesn't stop in February. It's something that needs to be done every month, and so our hope is that fans come in, in the next 28 days, but then also continue from that point forward.
To take part in the hockey It's in Our Blood challenge, visit the Canadian Blood Services website at blood.ca or call 1-888-2-DONATE. Time now for another installment of Train Like a Rebel, and for that, we check in with Jack at 360 Fitness.
Hi everyone, Jack here from 360 Fitness Personal Training. This week we're chatting about supplements and what to take. So we get this question a lot as personal trainers. Clients come in and say, what supplements do I need to lose weight, burn fat, and add lean muscle? And then we stop them right there. So first and foremost, supplements are just that. They are supplementing. So there's no replacement for a good diet and a good exercise routine. They only supplement the foundations. But once you have your basics and your foundations covered, the supplements can be that little extra step to get you to your results. So we tell our clients to kind of avoid all the stuff on the periphery and the big fancy things and just go for the basics. So we tell our clients to have 3 sources for the most part. A good general daily multivitamin, right? Since we can't get all of the nutrients that we need just from food. Another one is a good essential fatty acid source, like a fish oil or a seed oil or a borage oil, something like that to give you omega source. Another good supplement to take is a vegetable and fruit extract blend. So instead of having, it's tough to get 8 to 12 servings of vegetables a day and 4 to 6 servings of fruit. Sometimes it's just not doable in our daily lives. So having a quick little blend extract gives us that little boost we can go for.
Coming up after the break, we check in with Jim at Complete Athlete for another installment of the Skill Zone. And when we go around the Western Hockey League, we'll tell you about a number of suspensions for the Oil Kings and Hurricanes. Southside Dodge Rebels This Week is presented by Southside Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Red Deer, Alberta. Welcome back to the show. Recently, I chatted with our good friend Jared Waldo for another installment of In the Corners. Hey, look who it is. It's Jared Waldo. He does still work for Southside Dodge Rebels This Week. Glad to have you back, buddy.
Oh, it's nice to be back. Be back around the rink again. It's been a while, but nice to be back.
Well, much like the case was when you were last with us a couple of weeks ago, probably a few weeks ago now, this Rebels team, when it comes to racking up victories, still having a tough time doing it on a consistent basis. What are your thoughts on maybe what needs to change?
Well, I guess if I knew what needed to be changed, I'd tell Brent, and I don't know if I want to be doing that. But, the fact is that they've got to find some consistency. We've been talking a lot to the players lately about, getting in that mindset for the playoffs. And right now, the Red Deer Rebels need to find that consistency. And whether it's on the road or at home, you get into a 7-game series. I mean, if you go 7 games and you get home ice advantage, odds are that you're going to come out on top. But right now, they've got to find something. And whether it's finding a simpler game to play or just getting pucks to the net or getting contributions from the blue line, but whatever it is right now, they've got to find a way to get it done.
We talked a little bit about it with Reese Dino after the Lethbridge game, how the top 6 forwards on this team are doing the job they need to do in terms of scoring the goals and that kind of thing. What about the 3rd and 4th lines, though?
Well, that's exactly where the Rebels are going to find some success and turn things around right now. You got a guy like Christian Stockel who comes in and had an assist in his first game and played well at center ice and won faceoffs, but he really hasn't done a whole lot since. And he's a guy that I know the Rebels are looking to towards the future, but somebody that can come in right now and maybe contribute a little bit more and help to turn things around up there. Obviously, you get your Turner Elsons and the Dinos, as you mentioned, Joel Hamilton and Brooks Maxwell getting the job done. But a guy like Scotty Fazer, who showed a lot of flashes of brilliance, a guy that we know can put the puck in. He did so at the midget AAA level, did it well, and he's getting opportunities here, but he's a guy that the Rebels could really use to pot a few extra goals. And if the Rebels want to find some levels of consistency at a higher level, guys like Stockel and Fazer really need to step up.
I was really impressed with Scotty Fazer in last week's game versus Kootenay. Had some nice shifts out there, set up some good scoring chances for guys like Dominic Volek, who the Rebels brought in right at the Christmas break and has come in and has been as advertised for the most part.
Yeah, and Volek has done a nice job of adjusting well to life in Red Deer, and you're right, guys like him and Scotty Fazer. And it's one of those things, too. It's not necessarily going out and scoring goals, which the Rebels could use, but it's creating opportunities. And I like what you said about Fazer against Kootenay. He was out there, he was banging bodies, he was getting opportunities. Maybe a couple of turnovers here and there, but he was in the play creating those turnovers. And, if a guy like Fazer and Volek can contribute a little bit more, then you're right. It's going to be something that's going to turn this team around and get them ready. And they got to get it going soon because the playoffs are right around the corner.
And that's just it. Winning is fun. It's nice to get wins. It's nice to get the 2 points. But now winning is essential because you've got these other teams in the Eastern Conference that, for the most part, have caught you. Saskatoon's right on your heels with 3 games at hand. You've got 3 more games against Lethbridge. Swift Current's right there. Got to get the W's.
Well, and that's the thing, is that the cushion the Rebels had kind of a couple of weeks ago has totally disappeared. Now you've got Saskatoon. For the longest time, we weren't sure what they were going to get, what we were going to see out of the Blades and getting set to host the Memorial Cup. It looked like, they might even miss the playoffs. Well, now they look like a team that's ready to make a run. Swift Current, Lethbridge have been there all season long. Lethbridge has kind of been like Red Deer, a little up and down. They're a young team as well, but they're starting to figure things out as well. And when you've got a guy like Rimmer in goal, he can steal you games. So when you've got this, you're this close to the playoffs and that cushion has deteriorated a little bit, this road trip and getting these points here late in the season are so huge, because right now it could mean the difference between hosting and having home ice advantage and going down to the 8th seed and playing the Edmonton Oil Kings or Calgary Hitmen in the first round.
One more for you, Wally. Tee up this road trip for us. We've got 3 games coming up in Prince George, Seattle, and in Kamloops, a big 3-game swing out west.
It's a big 3 games, and it's an opportunity for the Rebels to I think, steal at least 4 points. I can see them doing well, finding success against Prince George, who they owe. They need to get 2 points there. I think the Seattle Thunderbirds is another game. I think the Rebels can go in and steal 2 points and play, their former captain again, and Adam Kambites, and then a real big test against Kamloops, a team who's, has been successful all season long. So I think if you can go in there, you steal your first 4 points, and then you lay it all out there against Kamloops, and an opportunity to come back with some momentum. But again, solidifying that number 4 spot. So it can be done. I think just go in and play a simple road game, especially at this time of year. You don't want to do anything fancy. Just go in, get the points, come home.
Welcome back, buddy. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thanks. It's good to see you again.
Well, you're a good liar. Jared Waldo joining us here on Southside Dodge Rebels this week. Time now to check in with the Skill Zone. Jim at Complete Athlete in Sylvan Lake.
Hey, it's Jim from Complete Athlete. This week on the Skill Zone, we're going to work on proper passing technique and accuracy. Just like shooting, the act of passing the puck contains similar movements. Players have the confidence to know where the puck is on the stick by feeling it as they bring it close to their body. This allows the player to now look at their next target, whether it's a player to pass to or a goalie to shoot on. Passing is very important as young players grow and mature, as passing is the first noticeable thing that drastically increases. At higher levels, players pass harder and the pace of the game is quicker. A player that passes and receives well is a player that's easy to play with. More information on passing and the synthetic ice can be found at completeathlete.ca.
Time now for news and notes from around the Western Hockey League. A real Donnybrook in Edmonton recently as the Oil Kings and Hurricanes went toe-to-toe in an all-out line brawl. The highlight of which being a spirited goalie tilt between Laurent Brossoit and Ty Rimmer. Both tenders getting some good shots in this one. Both teams were fined $750 by the Western Hockey League for their actions, and Lethbridge coach Rich Preston also fined for incurring a game misconduct. It's always fun to come to Rebels games and listen to the great music blasting throughout the NMAX Centrium. The man who plays the tunes for you, Adam Hamilton. Here's a sit down with him and Joe Whitbread.
Thanks very much, Troy. Upstairs with Adam Hamilton, the music maven at the NMAX Centrium. Is that fair? Is that a title? What do you do for the Red Deer Rebels?
There's actually more to it than just music, Joe. There's quite an array of stuff that I actually have to do up here. The goal horn I control, which is very important if you do it wrong. There's the scoreboard, the lights from the scoreboard I control, and of course the music. And also I can control, if I wanted to, all the lights in Westerner Park. The whole small, if I wanted to, but I don't. I just control the stuff that happens here in the Centrium.
So before you get to show us some of the cool stuff and the buttons and the gizmos and the gadgets up here, a little bit of background with yourself. You are a member of local media, and this is a pretty cool job.
Well, when I first started working for the Rebels several years ago, I just wanted to get into the games for free, and that's all I wanted to do. And my first position didn't let me get to watch the games very much, but I've been doing this is my second season, and now I get to watch all the games and get paid for it too. So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy this job.
Yeah, very envious of a lot of Rebels fans, and of course you get to play all the hits. So show us some tricks. Show us some toys. As we speak here, we should let people know we are at a Rebels game. Obviously, as you're viewing this, this is the Thursday night Rebels game just ahead of warm-up. So tell us maybe about getting into game. We're about 15 minutes from the guys entering the ice.
Well, I tend to go with my own style for music quite a bit, but there is some songs that the guys themselves actually pick, like their warm-up songs. They do pick those themselves, and we'll hear those in about 10 minutes time from now. And so yeah, and sometimes they'll change it throughout the year, and sometimes they won't. If they get on a streak, they'll keep with the same warm-up music all year long. what else could I show you? Sorry, go ahead.
No, how much input do the players have? Is this all entertainment from the Red Deer Rebels and yourself, or is there input from the players?
There definitely is input from the players. Not as much as you might think. Mostly just the warm-up music, but for the most part, we do take tweet requests as well. So I play those on a regular basis. I kind of let the fans lead me as much as I can, but a lot of it is just my own taste and what I think is going to suit for what's going on the ice.
A lot of people may not realize, but there are times during the Rebel game, obviously, that there's a sold sponsorship and things that you have to and are obligated through sponsorship contracts to play. Explain that sort of part of your job where it's not just music, but perhaps it's commercials too.
That part of it is actually takes my role in the media as part of a producer role. I do that stuff on my own at Sunny 94 where I work, and we'll get scripts and such, and we'll put it into the computer system. It's all run right out of here. Some of it will go from the other side of things on the video end of things too, but the audio is all run right out of here.
On a scale of 1 to awesome, how cool is your job?
Awesomer than awesome, actually. I love my job. It's fantastic to be able to watch the Rebels every game of every season.
And it's really neat for a guy like me to be up here. Obviously, fans get a chance to see me and do my stuff on the ice level, but it's a guy like Adam Hamilton and a lot of behind-the-scenes people that make the Rebels games and the entertainment value really enjoyable. Adam, thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Well, that about does it for this week's show. Once again, visit blood.ca or call 1-888-2donate and hook up with Canadian Blood Services. Hockey, it's in our blood. The month-long challenge between the Rebels and Hurricanes. You can donate blood and have a chance at winning a brand new Rebels team autographed jersey. Thanks for joining us. Check us out on our website and on Twitter. We'll see you next time.
Depot, go get so long. He haw, she saw something down in New Orleans. Depot, go get so long. Something down in New Orleans. Sometimes you tell me walk around looking for the best she's in there.
Pass on the right side, Saripo across to Quinville. Oh, what a stop! Coming across was Bartizak. Huge save by Patrick Bartizak. Ducks inside, York. He's trying to get a little bit in the back end.